and welcome to VServe Canada's Mental Health in Youth series, Elevate Yourself, supported by TD Bank. My name is Tracy Nguyen. I am a program coordinator at VServe Canada, and I'll be your host for today. We are beginning the fourth and final segment of our series called Mindfulness and Yoga. VServe Canada is super thankful for everyone's support throughout this initiative and spreading mental health awareness for youth across the globe. Just a reminder that we will be announcing the winner of our free $100 gift card contest in next week's series finale. You still have a chance to win, so please check out our Instagram handle for more details. For today's workshop, our topic is how yoga supports mindfulness. And we are joined by a wonderful guest speaker to share her knowledge and passion with you all. I would like to introduce Priyanka Yogini. You may recognize her from our diet and nutrition segment. She is a certified yoga teacher from Himalayan Ingaran Yoga in India and has conducted yoga sessions for celebrities, doctors, sportspersons, students, and much more. We are honored to have her partner up with us. So please welcome Priyanka. Hi Priyanka, how are you?
Thank you. I'm so good. Thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here again.
Of course, thank you so much. Yes. For our viewers who may be unfamiliar, can you just give a brief self-introduction?
Mm-hmm. So, as you know, I am Yogini, so I teach yoga. I'm certified yoga teacher, but beside that, I am nutritionist as well. And I am, I used to conduct TV program in India and here too in Canada. And I am a wellness coach now. But if you'll ask my qualification, it's engineering, electronics engineering, that I did long back. So, you're asking me small intro, and there's more of that, but I would restrict it to the small. So this is what I'm doing these days. Like I'm working as a wellness coach, and my intention is to help communities as much as I can.
Oh, it's amazing. Do you want to share any hobbies or things that you do for volunteer or anything like that?
Yeah, so my yoga journey started 19 years ago while I was obese. Like I was really obese and having multiple issues. And why I'm sharing that with you, I had anxiety and anemia, and like my health was not at a place where I really wanted it to be. So other than obesity, I was having anxiety and anemia, as I'm saying, and sinusitis. So all of that was causing issue on my health and my mental health specifically. So once you ask about my hobbies, and ever since then, yoga became my first hobby, and then it became my career. Then from yoga, I started thinking, because it brings balance to your life. So I started cooking healthy stuff and tasty stuff. I'm like hardcore foodie. I cannot eat gross food. I cannot be on diet, but then I can have healthy food. So that was the another thing. So that brought yoga and food into my life. And then from there, once I got so much benefit out of it, I started sharing it with people. So my another hobby was talking with people and knowing what their story is, what they're going through, and if at all I can support them. So I started connecting them with if somebody can help them or if myself can help them. So that become my next hobby. So what you're hearing is like yoga, food. Like I'm a great cook. I can say people love my food and like forget about everybody. I love my food. And I love interacting with people. So having all these, I created so many workshops and retreats where I started inviting people. And I went to army school for 15 days, like big camps we did. Say that school was massive. There were 4,000 students, like residential. That's the biggest school in India. So one of the army, the Sanic school. So all these hobbies and my career and my passion it's so connected. Now I can't say is this my hobbies or am I still working? So that's the thing. So that's more about my hobby. And one more thing I love watching reels on India, which is like I'm developing new like dance reels. So that's coming into new. So I'll be creating something educative around that because this is the next thing which I started loving. So in future I'll be influencer and creator.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really love how once you've started to take care of your mental and physical health, you want to share that with other people and like reach them, inspire them. That's amazing. Thank you for doing that for the larger community. It's great. Before we begin, maybe can you tell the viewers why did you want to join Visa Canada's Mental Health and Youth series?
As I mentioned, contributing to communities, it's what feels so close to my heart, that if I, we share, if anything is there and I've gotten the benefit out of it, I would be the first person to share it with my immediate community. And now it's like your world has become your community with all this social media. So there are pros and cons, but then now we have access to people, and I can hear if somebody is wanting me or looking for some mental health. So hearing Anu was talking about like TD Canada is doing mental health series, would you be like, yes, I am game for that. If it's for community, if any way if I can be a contribution to them, I would love to. So hearing that, I was like, okay, I am in. I am coming for this beautiful cause, which TD and you guys are awesome doing this. So that was my one reason: contribution, mental health. And these days, many people are suffering from that. Like I lost my father 3 days ago, but like it's a complete void for whole life. But then how to cope up with that so gracefully and instantly, almost instantly, is like, yoga has something there too, which has contributed great in that, in coping up with anything. So likewise, I have one issue, like people have so many issues, and sometimes they're aware of it, sometimes they are not even aware of it, that how to ask for help, and if there is any help at all present, or maybe they don't know the resources which are without any side effects, and which will give them support, and so that they can be a greater support for everyone. So that, here you are at a place where you are dealing with some issue, and then the next stage you are contributing to others as well, because you have elevated yourself up from the stage of where you are being a part of the issue. Now you're gotten on the top of that. So that was my reason to be associated with this gentle cause.
Right, you worded that like beautifully, Priyanka, and you pointed out something really important, that mental health is such a big thing nowadays, especially not even for you, but for almost any age group. And I think when we look as a whole, one of the strategies to cope that works with almost every age group, even seniors, is yoga. So that's why we're really happy that you came on board on our mission to spread awareness. That's so much.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dive into our Q&A. For any of our viewers, if you have questions for Priyanka, feel free to leave a comment in our comments, and we will get to them. So to start us off, for people who are new and unfamiliar, just maybe because it's not such a popular thing, or it's becoming more popular, is what exactly is yoga,
It's a very good question. Like the person who don't know, or maybe like they're not aware of what yoga is to unite you with yourself, because many a times there is a conflict in you are at so many places, you're scattered and you're not at peace. So yoga can help, and you can name yoga as yoga, or you can say tai chi, or you can say anything which requires your mind to be there is yoga. Because in yoga books there is no description of any asanas, any bodily movement, any posture. It says the one which unites your mind and body is yoga. That's the union of your mind and body. Another spiritual aspect of it's like your soul when it's united with divine soul, the super soul is yoga. So that's another piece of it. So yoga, literal meaning of yoga is union, and union of communities, continents, people, whether you're from any, caste, color, creed, sex, like it's union of two bodies, whether it's higher being you or like you and me. We're united here, it's yoga. And your viewers are connected with us, that's also yoga. So that's the basis of it. But there are so many forms of yoga, and there are fast styles, there are slow styles, there are dancing yoga, and people would come up with all these because we all are divine and creative being. So being divine, I would say like creativity, because this is how the whole universe have been created. Some creation is there. So those styles would come, but then which style is good for you? That would be the another thing. So yoga is so much vast, and if I would sum up in one sentence, it's union of two.
Union of two.
Union of two, and you decide who you want to unite it with.
That's great. Yeah, that was really clear. And I never even thought about how vast yoga can be. I think a lot of people might just think it's just doing like poses, and it's more of like a physical sort of thing, but it seems a lot more like spiritual in a way.
Yeah, it's one of the 6 Indian philosophies, and this philosophy is like, you cannot experience it, just philosophy. But yoga is experiential philosophy. So I make my students stay in a posture, and then they talk to their mind, their body talks to them. Let me come out of this posture and there, because my voice there is not sweet as I'm talking now. It's like, hang on, stay there. Or maybe my voice holds them, and instructors or teachers' voice holds them, and then they come to know what their mind is actually trying to say. Are they stronger than that little bit sound, the chatting here, or they can stay right there? So that things comes up while you're actually doing yoga. So this is a philosophy which comes up, and you experience it, that you don't have to let go, or sometimes you just have to let go. So there are so many things in it, and that is only to be experienced. You cannot talk about yoga, or if you're reading a book and just reading a book for the sake of doing it, or it's a kind of you're implementing the lessons out of that. It's more about doing something.
Yes, absolutely. This ties right into our second question, and it's, how is yoga connected to mindfulness?
Yeah, and that's so beautifully connected. And now I'm seeing. So once you're in a posture, any posture, or you're breathing, you're hearing your mind. That mind sometimes. So this morning I wasn't ready to get up at all. I slept late. It's my father thing, and it's so, I'm trying to go back to India. So like I am having one issue, and if anybody is dealing with something while they're in the class or before coming to the class, and they're being present to it, now what next distinction can come? They can choose. Once they know their mind is chit-chattering and saying not to go. But I have some commitment to my student, and I'll say, no, I still have to go, no matter what. So there, if you're mindful, I can, if I am not mindful what my commitment is, what my mind is saying, I would choose to sleep for 2 hours or 3 hours because I'm dealing with some issue, and that's it. That's it. I have no say, and no, like I won't be in charge, and I won't be having any say on my mind. But now, being mindful, I am aware that what I am going through and what I am actually given my words for. So it's like a mission I have. Likewise, so mindfulness, once you say, and early in the morning, or once you sleep, or maybe in the beginning of the new year you had some resolution. Now, how to be mindful of anything, whether it's your resolution, your goals, your relationship, your studies. And you and me, we were talking before this, like you have with 3 different screens, and you're doing kind of a studying and then checking. So what's your contribution there, and then what your mind says? Sometimes your mind would say otherwise. But then listening to your mind and having these tools, so tools like breathing or posture or some kriyas will be so helpful and can be so helpful knowing what your mind says and what you have to decide now. So it brings the strength up. So yoga and mind, if it's not about, if your mind is not there, it's not yoga. And after knowing what your mind is saying and then taking a decision can take you to the next level, like really next level, where actually all the fulfillments of goals are, or your resolutions are fulfilled, deal done. So those stuff can happen once you're mindful of what's happening and where you want to be. So it fills the gap up, and yoga helps in that. It brings the awareness.
Yeah. Right. Wow, I never seen how yoga and mindfulness really, they just go in hand, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Since we're talking about mental health in our series, can you touch upon how can yoga impact mental health, especially for youths?
There are so many beautiful kriyas. So kriyas are activities which you sync with breath work. Any activities kriya, but these subtle kriyas, Sanskrit name of these are sukshma kriyas. So these subtle kriyas helps in having clarity. And like, you might have, there is no, I don't blame anyone if they're dealing with something, or they are lazy, they are procrastinating, or they're dealing with some issues. They are there because they have some doshas. Doshas are like kind of toxins in your body, either in form of excessive air, excessive coolant like kapha, or excessive fire. So these are Ayurvedic explanation of imbalances in your body. But if you'll talk about the nutrition and other stuff, that whatever is not fully digested, that can be can be accumulated in as toxins. So now talking about that, how yoga helps in, and then how it can be helpful in that. So there are kriyas which will eliminate all these like a tool, or I would say like magic wand. So sometimes it's like tool and you do it, and you don't have to know how it actually balances you, but then it does. And those kriyas helps in balancing. If you have too much fire, it cools it down. If you are too much, if you have too much coolant in your body and less fire, it brings the fire up. So those tools, once you use those tools, not only you're being aware and your mind is there, but it makes you light, and you're more disciplined, you're more into action, and you're more focused. Then utilizing and having these tools is like can be a greater support. So how yoga helps in mindfulness is like there's so many kriyas.
Yes, that's amazing. What are some like yoga exercises or practices, like what you have just been talking about, like poses that youth can do to be mindful? So if they're new to yoga, is there anything you would suggest them to try?
Yeah, you can, I'm just giving you demo where I'm sitting on chair, but then you can do this same kriya while jumping. So imagine you're standing on your feet, those who are like active, and youth supposed to be active, and we can take it that you can, so be on your toes and jump. And then after jumping 5-10 times, you can just be stable and focus on your soles. So like I'm sitting, and what I'm focusing on, just focus on your nostrils and breathe in, breathe out fast. So I'll give you a demo for say 10 seconds.
Sure.
So imagine if somebody is sitting and doing this kriya, and you can also do it while standing, and 5-10 jumps, which will activate your lymphatic system and brings a new energy, and it shifts the old stale energy into the new energy. So that's, and then how you're going to do it. So be aware of your nostrils and breathe in, breathe out actively. Those who are watching us now, and even Tracy, you can try it. And once you'll do it, maybe I can ask you questions. Beautiful. So now, what's the sensation here in your internal nose and external nose? And then see the sensation in your throat. What is the sensation? And if you would like to share, you can share with us. What's the sensation?
See, when I tried it, I felt like I could feel myself like breathing like through my chest and my throat. Like I felt those beats like pounding.
Yeah. And if you'll keep on doing this, so one thing was like there was nothing in mind because you were knowing Priyanka might ask me question or and I am doing it. You were aware. For those 10, 20 seconds, you were right here, right in the present. So you disconnected your chattering mind and you brought yourself right here. So this is the start. If you bring yourself right at the moment, there is nothing like past or future. You are just in the present and you can enjoy the present. One simple technique to be mindful. And you were mindful of like, okay, there's some sensation. I could see my pounding and my breath was like you were relating with your body. For the first time, maybe you were with your breath like this.
Right. Yes.
So that's one thing, and there's so many techniques for every joint of your body. There are techniques, and for your for every subtle part of your body, there are techniques. And we believe that air gets stuck in joints, in bones, because there are spaces there, and air can easily be there and get stuck. And once it's stuck, it brings certain emotions which are like which may be weighing you down, or which may be troubling you, making you heavy. And once you release those with the air, active air, and then attention on those parts from where you're feeling the sensation of the air, either breathe in, breathe out, or both. And that's a journey. It's kind of a muscle training. You have to do it one day 10 seconds, then other day 1 minute, then other day maybe 2 minutes, and do it for 2 minutes for say maybe 10 days. And then after 10 days, 20 days, you will see your stamina is like never before. You'll be able to do so much stuff, so much more stuff. And okay, I'm getting strength, and I am being more mindful of what I am looking for. So these are the things. And like since you asked like one technique, another technique could be you keep your hands around your throat, and there is pulsing, there is some pulsation happening. And where you're not doing much, but you're sensing that they're pulse. And see where your mind is and what you're trying to notice. And then you do it for some time. So you're right here. And you do it for some time, and again breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So you are bringing your mind here, but with the speed, because many people, they don't like the slow style. And after 10 seconds, 20 seconds, they'll be like, no, I'm getting out of it. So for their mind to be anchored here, glued here, we get their movements. Okay, now you get busy because your mind wants to be involved in something or other. So let mind be involved here. Then other things which are bringing worry, which are bringing you in comparison game, or for no reason mind can go in extreme directions. So to stop that chatter and bring your mind to some activity, we choose to do certain activities, and then it's a training, and it's kind of a carrot. If once you like it, it's kind of a teaser or tester. So you'll taste it for some time, and then you'll taste it, you like it, you taste it, and then you would be addicted to this kind of now I want this. So foodie in me cannot escape me, and then I'm finding out other ways to create more cuisine and more recipes and all. So this is one step, and then you get into it. Mostly people who do yoga, like my students are, they are with me since years and years, and those who are in India, they are like waiting for me when Priyanka gonna come. Because of time issues, sometimes I don't, like I couldn't take their classes. So once they are, once they are into it, because seeing the benefit, they would love to continue it.
Of course, yes.
So that's the thing. So these two things, if you are doing, one, concentrating on your nostril and breathing in, breathing out. Another, just being aware of your throat, like you're putting your hands on neck, but being aware of your throat, like inside thing. And this way you'll support your thyroid, which is very good for your growth and mental growth specifically. But you're also being aware of what's the rhythm of your breath. And you're just being there. On top of that, you're just being there. Just being there in the present is the main motto of yoga.
Right.
So that you're not in past or my hands going or future. So that's
right. Yes. Like just doing those two small, quick exercises. Like I was so focused on what I was doing, I wasn't thinking about anything else. So like that really shows how mindfulness.
One testimonial right away.
Since we're still talking about use, for someone who's new, like how many like days a week or how long in one day should they spend doing yoga?
5 minutes daily. And then also I would also suggest, like some of us, we like to do intermittent fasting. Okay, twice we'll eat twice only, and some of us eat 5 or 7 times because we believe in eating small portion quite frequently. So anytime your light stomach, your empty stomach, you can do it. So just before your meals you can do it. But how much time do you have? I would say if you can afford to take 3 to 5 minutes break, Tracy, for you also, take break from your busy work schedule, take a break and then start doing something like that, and then note it down. How are you feeling today? And after 30 days, you will see day 1 and day 30th day in between, and on the final day you will be like, okay, you'll pat on your back that yes, I did this. And this has, you'll have more clarity, memory, and it's kind of a guarantee of staying fit forever. Like forever, if you want to take an insurance kind of this, where you can say like, I'll be fit forever. So this is one thing you can, staple in your busy schedules. And even while watching Insta or watching this show also, or other programs, like you can do this.
Right, of course. Yes. It's a great idea to encourage youth to write it down, because then it's a way for them to reflect. Like maybe they don't see the change, but when they look back to day 1 and you read it and say, oh wow, in day 1 I didn't feel the greatest, but now I feel great, but I don't notice that big change, or it's like a slight shift. Yeah, so it's great.
I would quickly like to share, because you're mentioning, no, I started practicing my yoga while I was 25 years after my kids, and I was obese and this and that, and I did not write down that I had sinusitis, but everybody would know I had major sinusitis. So after 6 months, my sinusitis gone, and I did not notice because I wasn't penning it down. And somebody in my family is like, oh, you had that also, because I used to open tap with full on speed, so that if I'm blowing my nose, nobody's like able to see what I'm doing. And it was like, I would sleep like this, because I wasn't able to breathe in through my nose because of my sinusitis. Like a lot of congestion was there. So now if I if I talk to my student, I ask them, I encourage them to write it down, where they are now. And every day we do this exercise, where I am today, where I am today, where I am today. So that, and you don't notice very subtle things. And after 30 days, once you see, oh, here I am, and this is from where I started. And as you're saying, it's then you will see the big change. And I almost forgot that I had sinusitis, because my only motto was to lose weight, nothing else, and get fit into my old clothes. But there are so many other things which I got as very nice side effects of doing yoga. So that happened to me. So I encourage all my students and clients to write it down.
Yes, that's a great idea. As we move forward, I know that the mindfulness probably means a lot to you, but can you just talk about like what does mindfulness mean to you and why do you practice yoga? But I think we kind of like touch upon a lot of your reasonings.
Yeah. You know, as I mentioned before, too, mindfulness is like being aware and being in charge. Being in charge of what you're supposed to be doing and what your mind is. If your mind, we say mind can be your biggest enemy or biggest friend, bestest friend. So now, which facet to which one to choose? If you're mindful of, you can choose the devil or you can choose the fairy side of it. So being mindful is like being owner of your acts and your thoughts, because thoughts creates your actions. And if you're thinking something which is not good for yourself and not good for your community or anything for your mission, then why would you choose it? But some of us, we choose to procrastinate, we choose not to get up early morning, or we choose not to do certain stuff. I have this habit still, and I have many coaches who helps me in that. But mindfulness makes you aware of things that, okay, this is my commitment and this is my reasoning and excuses. So which one to choose? And you take the ownership and you be a cause in the matter. Like you are really again to cause something rather than be a victim of even your own habits. So like something happened, life happens, and then we choose not to do certain things or many things because life happens, and we are choosing, and we are not becoming mindful that very slightly we are slipping to that other side, which is reasoning, giving excuses, then choosing it strongly that I am mindful, I gave my word for this, being human, these are my duties, my responsibilities, or being born in this family, these are my responsibilities, or whatever. Or I am in this job, or we are doing this video, I am being mindful of this. Maybe whatever it is, your questions or time or whatever it is, like, oh, I'm being mindful, and then next time, and right after that you will take appropriate actions. So being mindful is like being cause in the matter, and also like being I would say unreasonable, like no matter what. It's like unreasonable. I am a strong stand for what I say that I would be. And I am my words. Like these are big words, but that's what mindfulness for me. It creates ease for you. It creates kind of a clarity once you know that what's in your mind. Your mind tells you, if your guts tells you before anything. um is that clear?
Yes,
Or
of
do you
course.
want it?
Yes.
It's like, because I'll keep on saying like a lot of things, but I think like saying more is not relevant here. Like being intentional, mindful is being intentional, I would say.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's greatly said. I don't see any more questions popping up into the chat. So maybe to end off, do you have any last piece of advice or something to motivate youths who are new to yoga? They want to try, but they don't know how to start, like, and where to start, just because it's so vast. Any last piece of advice for them?
Yeah, I would say just start wherever you can. Just set in your timetable, and maybe you can contact to me or any coach, any instructor which you resonate with, and just contact them or open a YouTube video or anywhere. Just start. Starting is the first thing, and then once you are seeing once you see the benefits, you would like to have more of it, and there are immense benefit, and it's worth trying. 19 years ago I started this, and then there is no looking back, and I would like to continue it forever. So you try it and once you try it, at least try it for 40 days, and then decide whether to stick to it or try something else, but try anything which brings your mind with your body. So whatever activity you're doing and your mind is also there, do anything such that. So, and yoga, because I am into yoga, so I would say try yoga for 40 days and then decide. The benefits will tell you whether to continue it or whether to start anything else or mix anything else in your practice.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. That was wonderful. So everyone else, this wraps up our workshop for today. In case we have not answered your questions or things pop up, feel free to send us a message on our Instagram and we can forward it to Priyanka as well. Thank you all for tuning in with us today. We hope some of you feel inspired from what Priyanka has talked about to practice mindfulness in your daily lives and to incorporate yoga. Next week is our series finale with the topic Yoga for Youth, an Empowering Tool. It has been an amazing 9 weeks so far, and we look forward to ending our initiative on a good note. Remember to follow us on our social media and to see who the lucky winner is for next week. We hope to see you again for our next workshop. Stay safe, stay healthy, and elevate yourself.